Let's move to another area. The popular seaside town of Umdloti was one area particularly devastated. Now, of course, it's trying to repair damaged roads and buildings. I'm joined by the ward councillor for the area, Geoff Pullan. Mr. Pullan, thank you so much for your time. I wonder if you can give us an idea whether you have the full scale of the damage. We saw some dramatic footage, but have you got a real handle on the damage and how much it's going to cost to repair?
Sure. That's a huge issue. This coast has taken a hammering. Umdloti in particular, but Tongaat and Canelands and those areas as well, and Phoenix. The council officials are going around checking up to see what damage is done. I think that, in fact, private enterprise and private individuals and companies and organizations have done a lot to help in Umdloti and other areas, and in fact they are to be seen around with their payloaders and their trucks and what have you, clearing up. I find our own municipal folk a bit scarce in the ground, which is a worry. I just don't think that we were geared for this, and nor should anyone be, because it's been a huge disaster. As for costs of fixing it up, sure, I think it's going to be in the billions.
That's very diplomatic when you say that the municipal officials have been scarce on the ground in Umdloti. A lot of people are saying that they've just basically not been around at all. You've lauded the private sector and private citizens for trying to start the mopping up process. But just talk to me about the support that has come from the city. I mean, you're a councillor yourself. I would imagine you're in a position to call for more assistance if you feel it's lacking.
Yes, I am, and I do, and like all councillors, we do. But there isn't the capacity. The city doesn't have the capacity. We're realising that more and more.
Talk to me about what's being done now. I know that that traffic circle, which is well known if you drive into Umdloti, that road basically collapsed, and a lot of the seafront areas were damaged. Just tell me exactly what people are doing to try and fix things at the moment.
The first thing that people did, which was sensible, was to open the roads, because there was the north part of North Beach Road in Umdloti was cut off. Water came right through, and sand and everything just was up to first floor level and blocked the road completely. So the payloaders have been in there clearing the sand away. And we've had a little bit of argy-bargy with the city because the beach people said you can't put that sand on the beach. But in fact, it's half of it washed onto the beach. So just clearing the road was a way to get people to their homes, which is what we've done, what the private individuals have done and the private companies. So we're pleased that they've done that. And now people are able to get into all their homes there. Obviously, the ones that are damaged, they won't be able to occupy. And the ones that are structurally unsound also can't be occupied. And private engineers need to check that to say, look, you can't move into those.
There's been some concern. Obviously, there's damage from the flood waters, but there's also concern that building codes were not adhered to and that some of these structures were vulnerable potentially because they weren't constructed in the right way. Is that something that's been flagged in Umdloti?
No, it hasn't, and I haven't heard that, to be honest. When you have a wall of sand and it's 3 or 4 meters high and it comes through, no structure will take that. To be honest, I think we must start looking at how we do things in developments. What seems to have happened at the top there is the developers went in and cleared all the ground cover so that they would start building. Now, in fact, you shouldn't do that. You should just do a little bit at a time, because all that ground cover was holding all that sand and soil together, that rare red sandstone. Once you take that off, then you're vulnerable if there is something like we had a huge flood. And that's been the problem. That's all of sand and mush came straight through, went through the house, I think it's number 56 in Bellamont Road, really flattened that and undermined the houses on either side, then went through and hit the back of some buildings in the front, Cozumel is one of them, and another one, I forget the name, and pushed through there. So some of those homes were completely annihilated.
Is there discussion about building back better? Because a lot of people are talking about we shouldn't perhaps be building so close to the ocean, that this Berea red sand is not always as stable as it should be. Are there discussions underway about making sure that Umdloti is never this vulnerable to flood and mudslides again?
I don't think it's because of being close to the coast is the issue, because in fact the sea has done absolutely nothing. That's not the issue. The issue is that the rainfall, I think there was however many centimetres fell in a fail swoop on the top of the hill there, which was open sand effectively, and that just washed straight down. That was the problem.
When is Umdloti going to be holiday ready again? How long is it going to take to rebuild those roads? When will tourists be able to have a holiday again?
There's actually some people staying there, but still. Look, it is going to take a while. Fixing up the roads can take a few months, but there's the capacity, and with private sector involvement, I think it'll be quite quick.
All right, thank you so much for chatting to us this evening. That's the ward councillor for the area of Umdloti and surrounds, Geoff Pullan.